Hey guys, this is lesson 119, and you might notice on my recording today the camera is a little more shaky than usual. I am sitting at a doctor's appointment in the car waiting for someone, and so I just thought I'd do my recordings today, so sorry if the camera is moving around a little bit. The other thing I noticed is I didn't bring my ruler, so you are not going to have to measure on the next side. I'm just going to do my best with teaching you the measuring ones. So we're going to skip this, draw a 4.5 inch line segment. Just make sure you use the inches side of your ruler when you do that. And measuring this line segment using inches. Number 1 says, there are 5 desks in the room. TJ put 3 books on each desk. Draw the books on the desks. So let's go back. There are 5 desks and 3 books on each. Okay, so let's do our 5 desks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I could do tally marks, I could draw books, but what I usually like to do is actually put the number because it's easier for me to think about later. 3 books on each desk. How many books did you draw all together? So we're counting by threes. We're doing some multiplication, right? We have 5 times 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. How many books all together? 15. Round each number to the nearest 10. Now, I believe I sent your math journals home. If I didn't, I'm going to do a quick rounding lesson. So there's a rounding page that looks like a roller coaster in there. And I don't know if we've done much rounding together, but I'll give you a quick tutorial here. And when I have my... Actually, you know what? I did bring... Let's take a look here. Oops. Rounding. So, page 26 in your journal. Come on. Okay. It's this guy right here. I don't remember if we've gone over this or not. Oh, crumb. There. I don't remember if we've gone over this or not, but real quick with rounding. If it's between tens, you find the 2 tens that the number is between when you're counting. So say it's, what was the first one on here? 27. So I put 27 in the middle here. That's the number we're making a decision on. And when I count, 27 comes between 20 and 30 when I'm counting, doesn't it? So I'm going to put 20 here, and I'm going to put 30 here. And I should have a dry erase marker, but I don't, so I hope you can see that. So it's between 20 and 30 that we're deciding between. Now, if I'm rounding to the nearest 10, I look at the number 1 to the right of it, the 7. And if it's 5 or more, just like when a roller coaster cart goes up, when it gets to the top, it whooshes down again. If it's 5 or more, it goes down to this number. If it doesn't get up to the 5, then it goes back to this number. So the 7 in this case is more than 5. And if it's more than 5, it goes down to 30. So 27, we were deciding between 20 and 30. And the 7 told us to go down to 30. Okay, let's do the same thing with 52. Let me wipe the marker off there. Okay, so 52. When I'm counting tens, where's 52? Down here, it's between what 2 numbers? It's after 50, but before 60, isn't it? It's somewhere in here. So the numbers I'm deciding between are 50, come on, and 60. Now I look at the 2 to decide and compare it to 5. And the 2 doesn't get all the way up to the 5, does it? It's down here somewhere. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It didn't get up to the 5, so it goes back to 50 when we round it. So we were deciding between 50 and 60, and we looked at the 2 to decide, and the 2 told us we go back to 50. Third one is 45. Let's take a look at that. So 45. 45 when we're counting is between what two tens? It's after 40 and before 50, isn't it? And when we're rounding to the nearest 10, we look at the 5. Now, 5 tells us to do what? If it's 5 or more, the roller coaster goes down to the 50. Okay? So we're deciding between 40 and 50, and the 5 told us to go to 50. Measure the vertical line segment using, on the left, so this over here, using centimeters. Now, like I said, I don't have a ruler. Oops, there we go. I don't have a ruler along, but I am going to coach you a little bit on, you know how to use the centimeter side of your ruler. We've done that. It's the smaller measurements on your ruler, not inches this time, guys. Go for centimeters. So vertical is one of the terms we want to talk about, and left. Then we're doing the vertical line on the right, because look, there's 2 vertical lines. We have to decide what's right and left. Measure the horizontal line, and then measure the oblique line. So let's talk about vertical, horizontal, and oblique. So the easiest one for me to remember is always horizontal. Horizontal goes side to side. When we're drawing an arch, the horizon line, because horizon is in the word horizontal, the horizon line is the line between the ground and the sky. And the sun comes up over the horizon, doesn't it? So this is the horizontal line. Vertical, vert means straight up and down. Vert means up and down. So vertical on the left over here, vertical on the right over here. The last one is oblique. Oblique means a slanty line. And it can be slanty this way, it can be slanty the other way. We just have to make sure it's not a line straight up and down. It's not a line straight side to side like these are. These are horizontal and vertical. Any slanty lines are oblique. So, vertical on the left, vertical on the right, horizontal, oblique. Perimeter. Now, can't remember if we've talked about perimeter either yet. Perimeter is the fence around a yard. So when we are figuring out the perimeter, we are adding up all the sides. So how many sides are on this shape? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should be adding up this, plus this, plus this, plus this. We should be adding up 4 numbers after we measure them. The fence around the yard is the perimeter. Number 4, trace the parallel line segments in problem 3 using red crayon. So parallel is another term that means 2 lines that are side by side. They can be far apart or close together, side by side, and they're never going to cross. And they never look like they're going to cross. They're like railroad tracks. They don't slant together at all. And the clue is those two L's in parallel. Okay? Parallel lines go side by side and they never cross, just like railroad tracks. Okay? So the parallel line segments are the two that I just put lines on. That one and that one. These right here don't cross either, but they look like they could, don't they? Out here, it looks like they're going to cross. These are not parallel lines. They look like they are going to cross eventually. These are parallel because they look like they are never going to cross. Number 5. Find an example of a cylinder in the classroom. And then also an example of a sphere. Now, 3D shapes. A cylinder is like... a cylinder has circles on the ends and is round in the middle. So if you think of a soup can or a pop can, the top and bottom are circles and it's round. It doesn't have any edges, does it? It's round around the middle. So cylinders can be short, like a soup can or a tuna fish can, or they can be super long, like a wrapping paper roll or a paper towel roll, as long as there are circles on the ends and it's round without any edges in the middle. Now a sphere is a 3D circle. A sphere doesn't have any edges or corners. So we could think of a basketball or an orange, like an orange that you eat, or something like that. It doesn't have any corners. Let me see what they're going to give you here. Yep, they're going to give you cylinder and sphere. So, side B, you're going to have to find these at home, but I'm going to give you examples for in the classroom. A cylinder would be a soda can, and a sphere might be a basketball. Number 6, write 617 using digits. Now when you do this one on the other side, what they're asking you to do is try to read number words. Okay? So I read it for you, so that makes it a little easier, but 617. 617. Now we're going to do expanded form. Also, digits, by the way, digits are just numbers. Okay? So when they say write using digits, that means just write it out in numbers instead of words like they did. Write this number in expanded form, so we're going to expand the hundreds place, the tens place, and the ones place. So let's start with the biggest one first and do 6, and 6 is in the hundreds place, so it's not actually worth 6. It's actually worth 600. And you can also just turn these into zeros to figure out what it's worth. 600. 600. Plus, so we're making a giant addition problem. The 1 is in the tens place. So that's not actually worth 1, it's actually worth 10. And then the 7 is in the ones place, it is actually worth just 7. So when we do expanded form, we should have as many numbers that we're adding up as there are numbers in the bigger number. 600 plus 10 plus 7. Find the answers. We can count by fives for this one. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Two groups of 7 for this one. 7 plus 7 is 14. Count by tens for that one if you want. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. And the other way we could do this, if you're multiplying by a number that's 1 with a 0 after it, or 1 with more than 1 0 after it, like 1 with 2 zeros or 3 zeros or 4 zeros, then what you do is this. You take your other number and you add the zeros on after it. So we have a 7, and we put the 0 after it to make it 70. So let's do the same thing here. We have the 8, and we're going to take these 2 zeros, because if it's a 1 with zeros after it, we can do this. We're going to take these 2 zeros and we're going to move them after the 8. So our answer is going to be 8 with 2 zeros after it. 800. Last few, pay attention to the signs. 5 plus 6 is 11. 4 plus 2 is 6, and 1 more is 7. Now we're going to subtract for these last two, and I'm noticing there's a bigger bottom we have to borrow. So go to the neighbor and borrow 1 and bring it back home. That's a 6. 11 take away 3 is 8. 6 take away 5 is 1. Bigger bottom on this one? Nope. So we can just subtract. 5 take away 2 is 3. 8 take away 3 is 5. There you go. Have a good afternoon.